How's it going, YouTube? I know it's been quite a bit since I posted on this YouTube channel, and to be honest, I haven't touched this YouTube channel since like probably November. And just a couple days ago, before recording this video, it was the first time I actually got on to this YouTube channel and saw some of my videos were actually cooking with some views. You know, there's a video there with 3,400 views, and a couple was, in the thousands, and that's pretty cool. And I'm actually still getting quite a few people asking about my tunes, and I should make a tune video about it, so here I am finally doing it, after a couple of years of people requesting it. I know the game is dead, but it's dead in the terms of not all the fast people are playing anymore, but there's actually quite a few people I'm coming across that just started playing All Out, and they don't know where to start with the tunes or how the tuning system works. So hopefully this video kind of gives you some insight, and I'm going to show you guys my tunes and what I use. Now, I come across a lot of new players that complain the bike is too bouncy, or they say I can't stay in the ruts. So when I ask them what's your tune like, they'll say, oh, well, my suspension is all the way right, my sprocket is in the middle, my chassis is all the way right, and yeah. I give them my tunes and it changes the game for them. Now, I'm not saying my tune is the best tune by any means. You can adjust to a point where it works for you. It's all kind of preference. It's just, you gotta know where not to put your settings, where it really hurts you. I have 3 tunes that I use, one for Supercross and Stock Nationals, another tune for the AMA Nationals, and one more for the Goat Farm track and the Hometown tracks. And I'll give you guys a quick look at my tunes. You can pause the video and do what you gotta do to save them, but then I'll explain why I have my settings the way they are and explain where not to put your settings. Okay, so the tires are pretty straightforward. It's all the way to the right for the most traction, and if you go to the left, it's less traction. Now, sometimes I may put my tires slightly to the left, like just a few clicks for some of the rougher tracks like the AMA Nationals. I don't know if it's just a placebo effect or something, but it makes those tracks feel just a tad bit smoother. Now, with the suspension, the more left that you go means it's going to be more softer. About the second line from the left is about as low as I go. While having lower suspension helps with rougher tracks where the ruts are deep and the bumps are relentless, you are able to be more planted in the ruts and the bumps are not as bouncy. Now, going too low on suspension makes it more risky of crashing when you case a jump, or sometimes even the slightest bump can take you out. You can kind of lean to the side as you land, and it'll help you not case as much, or not crash as much as you case. But that's a skill that you'll eventually learn while playing the game. But if you're running your suspension below that that second bar I was talking about, you have to be insanely precise to not case or hit a braking bump too hard to not crash. Now, obviously, the more right you go on suspension is stiffer. I do not recommend putting your suspension more than halfway, unless you like free riding and going huge on those booters. More power to you. Now, as racing goes, having your suspension in the middle as far as you should go. Excuse me. Now, having stiffer suspension is best for Supercross and Stock Nationals. The Stock Nationals and Supercross tracks don't break down near as rough as the AMA Nationals, so you can kind of get away with that stiffer suspension. Having it stiffer makes clearing those big rhythm sections a bit more easier, and the risk of crashing when you case is pretty low. Now, brakes, the more left on the brakes means less braking power, but your bike will slip less. The more right you have your brakes obviously means more braking power, but more prone to be slipping in a corner when you tap those brakes. My brakes are always on the second to the last line to the right. You don't want your brakes too soft going into corners or trying to check up on something, but you also don't want too much braking power either. I find having too much braking power will kill your momentum in the corners as it's more abrupt, harder to coast and be smooth through that corner. Now the engine, the engine more to the left means less power and less wheel spin. Having your engine lower on the rougher tracks like the AMA Nationals will help be smoother in the ruts and those rough braking bumps. I do not recommend having your engine too low. I keep mine above the third to last line to the right, and I never go below that. Now, obviously having your engine more to the right gives you more power, but more wheel spin. Now, you can get away with your engine all the way right for the Supercross and stock national tracks depending on your throttle input. If you hold your throttle wide open all the time, it will cause more wheel spin and you'll feel like you're not moving anywhere and you'll struggle to carry momentum and clear some of those big rhythm sections. But if you're always chopping the throttle and coast through the corners and you're light on that throttle input, having your engine all the way to the right will benefit you on those tracks. So rougher the tracks, more left with the engine, smoother the tracks, all the way right or at least the last bar is what I recommend. Sprocket is pretty straightforward. It's always left for the most acceleration. I never move it, ever. The more right you go gives you more top speed, but the top speed is pointless in all out. Acceleration is pretty much your best friend when it comes to the tracks in this game. Now the chassis. I'm a bit of an oddball with the chassis. Most of the fast guys in all out like to have it all the way left. Having it all the way left makes your bike feel heavier, more planted in the ruts, and helps that bounciness through the rough sections of the track. Having your chassis more to the right makes the bike lighter, more bouncy, and unstable through corners. I don't recommend going past the first bar from the left. I like having my chassis a bit lighter. It's easier for me in Supercross to clear the big fast lines, and maybe it's just a placebo effect for me, but I feel like I'm able to scrub lower and faster with a higher chassis. I don't experience the negative effects all the time of having a lighter chassis just because my throttle input is very light. Holding wide open all the time really upsets the bike in a lot of areas of these tracks. So really work on your throttle input with these tunes and your game will change. So I think that's it for this video. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment down below or DM me on Instagram at tin_man_92 and I'll try my best to answer them. I really do appreciate the support on these videos. I know it's only a few thousand views on some videos there and there, but when I opened up this channel for the first time in a few months and saw that, it made me feel kind of bad for being inactive for so long. So thanks for watching these videos. I don't know when the next time I'll post, but I will be more active, I promise. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and until next time guys, see you later.